Hi, I'm Jill Wright, a time management expert and the creator of the Lifetime Planner. I wanted to take a moment to walk you through the extended version of the introduction that didn't make it into the planner itself because it just took up too many pages. But I do think it's really important for you to hear this framework so that you understand more of how to use the planner, why it exists, why the different pieces that we put in are important, and a little bit of history about time management, just because I'm a bit of a time management nerd. So I'm going to walk you through this. Bear with me if I get distracted. I am reading off of a piece of paper, and if you have ordered this Time Magic Planner for the first time, you'll receive all of this information printed out in a PDF, tucked in just as an extra add-on in case you feel like a bit of a time nerd like I do. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to give you the extended introduction of the Time Magic Planner, which is a seasonal 90-day planner. Okay. Right? That fresh start feeling of a blank page in a new planner? I'm certain that you love it as much as I do, and I can imagine you right now, filled with excitement and eager to put pen to paper. With a blank calendar before you, anything's possible. Before you get started, though, let's take a minute to set the framework for this planner, because I like to look at things a little differently. What is time? Simply put, time is a continuous sequence of events that move from the past through the present and into the future. And that sounds an awful lot like how we might also define life, doesn't it? This concept of time allows us to measure the duration of events and the space between them. In other words, time is the way that we create, define, and measure a life or a lifetime. Starting to see the connection? When we realize the intimate and untangleable connection between life and time, all of a sudden how we spend our time becomes a key factor in determining the kind of life that we have. We all think about the life that we want, right? How we want it to feel, what we want to accomplish, our hopes and our dreams, so that when we look back at the end of our lifetime, we can hope to say that we had a good life, a good time, that we lived well and we did the things that we wanted, that we loved, made a difference, and experienced everything on our bucket list. So with that in mind, why do we plan? The truth is that a good life doesn't happen by accident. In order for us to get that rocking chair moment, when we're able to look back and reflect on our life feeling satisfied and complete, we need to plan for the experiences that we want to have, right? Our life turns out to be the collection of how we spend our time. And a really crucial component that most time management advice misses is making sure that the way that you're spending your time is aligned to how you want your life to feel. Enter the Time Magic Planner. Right now, your dreams exist solely in your imagination. Writing them down is the first step in creating the life that you want. It starts with your intention. The next step is action, physically moving through your lifetime in a way that aligns with your vision of how you want your life to unfold. If this is true, and I wholeheartedly believe that it is, then time management is the most important factor in creating a life that you love. I say this all the time. The goal isn't to be a master of your time. The goal is an aligned and spacious life that feels good to you. Managing your time is how you get there. How you spend your time is how you spend your life. So it's worth planning for. Let's now reimagine time management. The concept of time management can often conjure up these feelings of structure and order and restrictiveness, the pressure of getting more done in less time. And that's because the concept of time management was originally created by a man named Frederick Winslow Taylor in the Industrial Revolution. And he created this concept as a way to increase productivity in factories, right? We've all heard that phrase, time is money. In the 1800s and the 1900s, the focus of time management was extremely masculine. It was getting things done faster and more efficiently. The concept slowly spread from the factories into our homes, in part due to Frank and Lillian Galbraith in their quest to manage a household with 12 children. You may have heard their story in the movie Cheaper by the Dozen. Soon society became obsessed with standardizing and optimizing all areas of life and time. And stress, it kind of became this badge of honor and a way of life, really, for a lot of us. As a student, I fell into this trap too. I excelled at being organized and proficient and determined that my value was based on my output. So I kept producing, and I was really good at it. It was when I became a mother that I realized that this hyper driven approach was not sustainable anymore. I was in a completely different season of life. Everything had shifted for me, and my priorities were different. Not to mention, none of the old tactics that I relied on in school and in my pre-motherhood life were working for me anymore. And so many of them weren't even relevant. We've all had those shifts in our lives when we feel stuck or incompetent because the way that we had been moving through our lifetime no longer applies. Perhaps it was when you graduated from high school or college and you got released into the real world for your own the very first time. Or maybe it was when you bought your first house or moved to a new city or found a different friend group. Maybe you had a spiritual awakening or became a parent or lost a job. Perhaps you're currently in full on potty training mode. It's summer break, or you've decided to go back to school or have a career change. You might be traveling for work, caring for a sick loved one, or starting your menopause journey. The point is that our lives are not static. Remember that concept I talked about before? That life and time is a continuous sequence of events that move from the past through the present and into the future? The very definition references fluidity and change. Life is continuously shifting. No two moments are the same. And in order to have a chance at our rocking chair moment in the sunset, and honestly, just to get through it all without feeling hurried and stressed and overworked all the time, we really need to reevaluate how we spend our time. Each of us is a unique and wonderful human being with distinct personality traits, beliefs, resources, or lack thereof, the different styles and preferences and neurodiversities. You get the idea, right? We all handle life and time differently. Our time management shouldn't be a one size fits all approach, but we haven't really been given any options until now. Did you know that there are different styles of time management? If you're curious what yours is, I invite you to take the quiz at jillwright.ca/quiz. And this information can really be tremendously helpful in starting to curate your personal planning approach. And here's a pro tip. Take that quiz each time you start a new season of life, or maybe a new season on the calendar, because your time management style changes as you do. So let's get into this time magic approach, right? This planner offers a way of managing time that's less stressful and more holistic. Time management that considers productivity and rest, that allows and even encourages you to consider your uniqueness and how you want your lifetime to feel. It's a more feminine, spacious way, and I'm really excited to share it with you. I call this intersection of time management, productivity, self-care, rest. That's what I call time magic. So finally, we get to the bones of how to use this planner. Life and time happens in seasons. And when things shift and change in our lives, we need to shift and change with the way that we approach our time. So instead of a planner that spans an entire 12 months, let's take things season by season and truly feel into how we want this time period to unfold. With intention and aligned action, you'll start to feel the shift between existing and truly living. We start with the monthly calendar. In the Time Magic Planner, you'll find undated monthly calendars so that you can start any damn day that you choose. There's no need to wait for a new year or even wait for a Monday. Go ahead and get started today. Simply grab a pen, fill in the dates to create your own seasonal planner. You're going to start each month by taking stock of where you are. You're going to shade in the different sections of the wheel of life, or the life wheel, according to how close or far you feel from your idea of 100% in each of those areas of life. Not how you think anyone else would rate you, but how you personally feel about how you are showing up compared to how you want to show up in each area of life. If you think of this wheel like a wheel on your car, like the car of life, right? It becomes super easy to see where your life tire is a little bit flat. It might need some extra air or intention, focus, action, right? Feel free to white out the different categories that I've included in there. as suggestions and put your own in instead if those 8 categories on the life wheel don't resonate with you. You can use the insights from going through this process of shading in your life wheel each month to choose a monthly theme or intention for how you want to spend your time this coming month. You'll find the life wheel at the beginning of each month so that you can reevaluate and adjust as needed in real time. Did I mention that life is constantly changing? For a guided meditation to walk you through this exercise, just go ahead and visit jillwright.ca/planner-resources. And you'll find it right there. It's also on the YouTube channel. And you can go through that every single month. It's a little 7-minute guided meditation to help take you through the life wheel exercise. Next, you're going to add in all of the one-off things that are happening that month, right? We set our intention, we looked at our wheel, we're at a blank calendar, a monthly spread. Put in all the doctor's appointments, the birthdays that you have to remember, the school picture days, and date nights, right? This monthly calendar is where the non-repeating appointments are going to live. You'll find a space on each monthly calendar for notes, right? You can have a have-to list and a hope-to list. Once you've categorized these, make sure that the have-to things are kind of put somewhere on the calendar that month so that they're scheduled in and accounted for and therefore so much more likely to happen. And if you end up getting to some of those hope-to things, that's fantastic. If not, keep them on the list and they can wait till next month. Each week, what I want you to do is set aside 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be the same day each week. It doesn't have to be the same time. There are undated weekly calendars ready for you to dive deeper into your planning and scheduling all those nitty-gritty actions that you are going to need to take to create the life that you're dreaming of in this season. So pick a day each week. I like Sunday, but you do you, to look ahead at what the next week will bring and plan accordingly. To get started, I invite you to flip back to the corresponding monthly calendar and just add in to your week all of the appropriate appointments and activities that are going to be happening that week from the monthly calendar. And then I want you to flip back to last week's weekly calendar and just add in any recurring appointments or to-dos that you know are going to be there week after week, right? Swimming lessons, your weekly co-working session. Get those things onto this week's calendar. Congratulations! You've now accounted for all of your scheduled commitments and to-dos. Once all of those already planned activities and places you need to be are accounted for, you can start to curate your life and your time for the week. You can use the brain dump section to write out everything that is taking up space in your mind. Get it on paper. This is not your to-do list. This is simply your place to get it all out of your head and onto paper so you can lighten the mental load. I want you to name what you're calling in each week with a word of the week, an intention, or a focus. This is going to help you stay focused when you start to name your frogs. The Eat Your Frog productivity method, most famously written about by Brian Tracy, is where you identify your most important task or tasks, often the ones that you're likely to procrastinate on, and you complete them first. So now that you can easily see the capacity that you have or don't this coming week, and you have your intention set, and all of those thoughts and ideas collected from your brain dump, it's time to name your frogs. Choose 3 things to tackle this week and schedule them into your weekly calendar on a specific day. If you need help prioritizing and choosing the top 3, try using the Eisenhower matrix, and I will make sure that that is included here in the video or as a PDF as well. The Eisenhower matrix is a super good tool to figure out what's urgent, what's important, and whatever ends up being in the quadrant 1, urgent and important, is what you're going to probably name as your frogs for that week. If you can, front load these 3 weekly frogs, these to-dos, to the beginning of your week, because that way, when things go sideways, you have some space at the end of the week to rejig your plan without stress, right? When you accomplish these 3 things early in the week, if nothing goes sideways, you got all 3 done, you can either choose to tackle some additional to-dos from your brain dump or simply rest guilt-free because you actually accomplished your 3 most important things already for the week. Go you. The next step is crucial. Self-care. This is the stuff that we never seem to have time for, right? Well, hang on tight because I'm about to break down exactly how you can make time for self-care. The first step, go to the back of your planner and list out the activities that fill you up, calm you down, or bring a smile to your face. And then add in the time associated with those activities. So, for example, maybe your favorite meditation is 10 minutes, or you need at least 20 minutes to fully relax and enjoy your bath. If you're not sure what these things are, if you need some inspiration, you can head over again to jillwright.ca/planner-resources. I have a whole list of self-care ideas that can spark some inspiration for you. And you really need to focus on what feels good for you. It's going to get the creative juices flowing, but you can't choose self-care items that you think are the right ones. They have to actually feel nourishing for you. And so now that you know what works for you and how long you need to dedicate to each of those things, you simply choose your own adventure when it comes to how to fit self-care into your schedule. The first option that I like to offer is intuitive self-care. Find an hour in the coming week or 20 minutes if that's all that you have available and schedule into your calendar self-care. Write it in there. Non-negotiable. It is an activity. It is an appointment in your calendar. Putting it in your calendar tells your subconscious mind that it's important and it's going to help you develop this habit of self-care. The trick is to not plan exactly what you're going to do with that time. When it arrives, you simply ask yourself, what do I need right now? It might be sleep, movement, connection, or a moment in nature. You're going to allow your intuition to guide you using that list that you created for inspiration. The next option in how to fit self-care into your week is the self-care time confetti method. The method of time confetti, which was coined by the brilliant Bridget Schulte, is one of my favorite things to share about. Because if finding 20 or 30 or 60 minutes of free time each week for self-care really truly feels impossible for you, then the concept of time confetti can help you see the hidden pockets of time that you have, right? You can think of time confetti as those 5 or 10-minute periods sprinkled throughout the day, right? You know, the ones you currently spend them scrolling. And instead of letting those moments slip by, I want you to use them intentionally to add in small acts of self-care, like gratitude or deep breathing or calling a friend, right? This practice minimizes the need to even find those 20 to 60 minutes each week because you're kept at a really high baseline of self-care. You've got a full cup, you're constantly topping up your cup throughout the day. So that's a really fun way to be able to fit some self-care into your day. And you can refer back to that exact same list and you'd be looking for the things that have 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 10 minutes written next to them if you're using the time confetti method for self-care. Within this planner, you are also going to see symbols. They're here for you to record and keep track of things like your menstrual cycle for those of us who shed a uterine lining each month, right? You can write in either the day of your cycle in that little droplet, right? Day 1, day 2, or you can color it in, shade it in if you're bleeding. If you're someone who likes to look at the phases, menstrual, follicular, ovulation, and luteal phases, you can just do, M, F, O, L in those little droplets so you can keep track at a glance where you are in your cycle, right? You can also go over to that same resource page, jillwright.ca/planner-resources, to get some additional insights on what activities are best suited to each phase of your cycle. Because we're human, we're not robots, and our energy changes throughout the month, right? We can use that information to our advantage. You can also track the lunar cycles, what the moon is doing, by shading in that little circle icon. If it's a full moon, if it's a new moon. If you're someone who keeps track of that or is interested in learning more about it, again, go to the Planner Resources website and you'll get some more information there about how to track the lunar cycles and what the energy changes could mean for you. If you want to get really astrological, I also share advice on how the planets and the days of the week can work together to support the work or the rest that you're trying to schedule in. Another section that I really like is the pattern tracker. If you're someone who wants to keep an idea, a finger on the pulse of how your mood is, how your energy levels are. This is a really great way to record that week after week, and you can start to see the patterns and maybe correlate them to what your body's doing or what the moon is doing or how busy your schedule was that day, right? Lastly, don't forget to record your glimmers. There is a section to make note of those tiny moments of joy, like seeing a rainbow or listening to your favorite song as it just comes on the radio, right? Those small things that we often overlook, I encourage you to write those down. And then each month, go through, look at the glimmers that happened, and sort of reflect on or journal on those really great things that made your life happy, joyful, light. At the back, you're going to find some extra resources as well, the space for the intuitive self-care list and your time confetti self-care list. There's blank pages throughout each month for notes, areas to reflect on your successes for the season, what you loved, what was hard, what you want to bring with you into the next season, what you want to leave behind. We've put in journal prompts and reflection questions and little motivating phrases to help bump up that dopamine and keep you going. You'll notice different things throughout the planner, like shaded areas. The weekends are shaded. The early morning and late evening are shaded. These are to help your brain really distinguish and understand time in a way that might have been hard for you to do previously. There are so many different tools, tricks, tactics that I've incorporated in here for neurodiverse brains that also work really well for neurotypical brains. But it is my hope that you take what you want, what resonates with you, that you don't feel stressed to try everything, and that you build a time management weekly planning framework that really feels personal to you, that works for you, because that is the point. Thank you so, so much for investing your time, your energy, and your money into the Time Magic Planner. I'm so honored that you've picked up this planner and you're ready to try managing your life and your time a little bit differently, whether it was a gift to you from a friend or from yourself, or you received it from someone who loves you. My prayer is that you will start to shift your mind on what time means and how we can look at it a little more holistically. And that this planner is the catalyst for you to truly take ownership of your time and create the life that you want. If you need some help getting started, getting inspired as to just what the heck your dream life might look like, again, head over to jillwright.ca/planner-resource for that guided meditation. And now it's time. It's time to go make some time magic.